Good morning. We are into another week. My goodness, it's coming close to tax time. Tomorrow is your tax filing day. But here we are, and I want to talk about the February issue of the Cleveland Clinic Heart Advisor, where they address something we've talked about for years, which is the impact of stress, not just on your heart, but also on your mental functions as well. And so it's a combination. We continue to learn that what's good for your heart is good for your brain, what's good for your brain is good for your heart. And so it's interesting to see in the Cleveland Clinic Heart Advisor for February 2025, they have a really good article about the impact of stress and how you can focus on positive attitudes and actions and change some of the things that cause you to kind of tighten up and punch up or hunch up. The things that are sometimes the bad stress, because there's also good stress for us. There are things that we do that cause us to stress in a competitive environment, in a caring environment where you have a bit of stress, but that could be good for you. That helps your brain to come up with sometimes a more creative solution to things. But for today's Live with Tony, I just want to cover some of the things you can do to minimize the toxic effects of stress as you go through things in your life that can have a negative impact on your body, and be a mental thinking as well as your physical being in terms of your blood pressure and things of that sort. So first of all, maybe you want to start to find one thing you can do in your life that's different. Maybe you change your routine. Maybe it's the way you drive to work. Maybe it's a store that you go shop in. Maybe it's a hobby that you have and learn from somebody else, something that's a little bit different, but something that you have not done in a while, or something you've not done at all, that just go to maybe a different museum or a different park, or just something a little bit different, that's just a little bit out of your normal daily routines. Dealing with loneliness and isolation has become one of the big things, especially in the COVID years that we've had. So find something that's socially stimulating. And I talk to people about this all the time, where it doesn't mean you have to be the social butterfly, that you have to drive conversations. But sometimes they just say, sitting to the side and observing and just watching people and what they're doing. Ball fields at this time of the year are just loaded with kids having a great time, or people playing a baseball game. And just, if you were to sit in the stands and just watch what's going on, and the parents and the spectators and what they're doing, it sometimes can be very stimulating, and just observing, just watching people and what they're doing and how they're going about doing it. And the third one, getting some exercise. We talk about, we don't need to train for a marathon race. We don't have to be a speed runner, but getting out and helping to move your body. It decreases your blood pressure. It helps combat inflammation within your body's artery systems and blood flow systems. And so again, just changing your physical activities and moving a little bit has some really major benefits. We talk about diets, nutrition, number 4, nutritional habits. Watch the sugars. My goodness, that's one thing that I watch more and more, because of the impacts that sugars have on us, and how it creates some of the negative impacts to our body's systems. Processed foods, I keep reading more and more about. God, I love to have ham and salami, and I keep reading about what ham and salami do in terms of being processed foods and the fats that they have in it. And so, can I start eating more vegetables, more fruits? So I have a point of having at least 3 fruits a day, and I watch the sugar. So if I'm eating a banana, I might take just a half a banana. If I'm eating pears or grapes, this time of the year, cherries, being cherries are one of my favorites. So I'm always able to at least get multiple fruits, and then I try to add vegetables into my diet. And so what we're doing with diets and replacing the sugars and the fats and the processed foods with things that are much more healthy for us. Finding an activity or a new hobby. Maybe there's something that you've always wanted to do, and there's a class in the neighborhood. I don't know that there are many communities anymore that don't have classes or workshops, very, very often nominal fees, where some retired person is possibly doing a class or teaching. Community centers, just offering these things, Lions clubs, Elk Club. I mean, God, there's so many different clubs that have different people that come in and speak on different topics that are just make it a point of getting out to one, once a month and finding something in your community that somebody is talking and speaking on, that just, maybe it's something totally new. You meet new people. You meet other people that are there that you might learn to help and talk with. Another one is volunteering. Helping others can provide a sense of purpose, worth, and satisfaction, where you're out and you're helping someone else with maybe a skill or something you do. I always remember early in my consulting, I did a session with the Boy Scouts, and the Boy Scouts were addressing a group of seniors doing, not seniors, they were people in the church bingo, right? And we got the Boy Scouts to come in and had the seniors in there teach the scouts something. Maybe it was sewing, maybe it was fishing, maybe it was hunting, or it was something that they were teaching the scouts. Maybe it was in their studies of science. But it was a volunteer basis where we got the scouts and the seniors from the bingo hall together to learn something new and have the people that are in the bingo process teach the scouts something that was interesting that the scouts found, and that was a great thing. Another thing to do is adopt a stress management technique. If stress is getting you, there are techniques to minimize the response. Now, what? Meditation, just, I look out at the backyard here, we've got trees, and I can stare at these trees. I can sit there for 10 minutes and just stare at the trees, and maybe there's a bird that flies through them, but it just cleans my mind out. It takes me away from anything that I may be stressing about or feeling a little bit more tense about. It just gives me that 10 or 15 minutes of just staring out at the green trees, and sometimes I'll stare at the pond and look to see if there's a gator swimming across it. But just getting yourself out there and finding something that allows you to meditate. Yoga is a big thing, and muscle relaxing techniques are gone. Another one that's hard for us to do is be kind to yourself. My goodness, we obsess with being perfect sometimes. We can be obsessive of being God. If we make a mistake in life, it's like, God, this is like bigger than life in itself, and like, how could I be so foolish or so bad? But there's no need to be perfect. We can recognize that you don't have control over everything, and everything in life is not going to be exactly the way you would like it to be. And so accepting some of the mistakes that we have and that we make, and accepting some of the things that aren't exactly perfect, sometimes allows us not to really get stressed and tense up. And then, of course, the last thing we have is, I talk about it, what I call positive gig. Good in, good grows. Find something that's good that's going on in your life, and let that build. Think of things, okay, what's something that was good that happened in my life yesterday? What is something that is good in my life that I'm focusing on for today that I'd like to get out and make sure I get to accomplish? So find at least one thing that you did the day before and one thing that you're looking forward to for the day present, and then maybe you can really get bold in this one, and that is find something that you're looking forward to that's maybe a week or two or a month out, that keeps you with purpose, that keeps you moving forward, that keeps you thinking about the future, and has a reason for you to continue to want to move on and unstress yourself. And so what we do know is emotional stress, it has a change, and it has a cascade effect in our whole body systems. And what we're trying to do is counteract it, lower blood pressure, lower your heart rate, drop the cortisol levels in your body. Let's not do fight or flight, every hour or every day, where we're just jacking up our whole cardiovascular systems. And we go on and on with the stress. And God, since I worked at IBM years ago, and we were going to stress sessions, and boy, God, we have stress working in a company that's trying to grow and prosper and things. And so it's not a new topic, and yet we still have it in our lives, and we still have people struggling and having heart attacks and dementia tax and things of sort that, and make a difference. And so grab one thing out of today's Live with Tony and see if you can bring that into your daily habits and make a difference in your life and how you go about it. See you on Wednesday. Have a good week.